let's see what we have for this project. What we're going to do is we're going to install a new battery into a Dell Inspiron laptop, and I've never done that before. And it's not like the older ones where the battery just simply slipped in and out. They're actually fastened inside the chassis. I checked out the specs against the Dell site. They're exact and they're precise. So before we begin, the first step is, of course, let's see if this is the battery that we expected and that we want. And it was supposed to come with tools, and it has. And I don't think the instructions are going to be much of anything. Anyway, here's the battery, and it's what I really needed, a 42 watt-hour battery. And I know it has 4 fasteners, and here are the 4 fasteners, so I know that. It's extremely light, and look how thin it is. So it's just a large cell phone battery, really. Step 1 is it is the battery that we needed for the Dell Inspiron, and that's good. And just to give you a bit of insight for tomorrow, or when we do this, is as I look at my tools here, it looks like the really main thing besides taking the bottom of the laptop off will be to make sure that we properly separate the bottom cover from the chassis where all the guts are. So I'm fortunate to have a bunch of tools like this that will allow me to get underneath, and just all I have to do is be able to prop it up and pop it up a bit just to at least get things started. So and if those for some reason don't work, of course you'll have to ground yourself. So I do have an anti-static strap. So when you're taking glass off a cell phone, one of the tools, which is what I plan to use, I think, tomorrow, would be this to help me separate. So let's see what happens tomorrow. But right now, I think I have everything ready that I need to do this. Well, we have all the ingredients now. We have what we think are all the tools that we're going to need: the battery, the actual laptop, the brick, and the power cord. So let's look behind it. It's nice and shiny and still in good condition. So we're going to take off 3, 6, 7, 8, 9 screws. So we're going to take off 9 screws from the bottom, and let's see if one of these screwdrivers will work. I have my trusty screwdriver here that I know will fit for these screws. I have my anti-static wrap on here, my wrist band. So let's see, I'm going to start in the middle because nobody else starts in the middle. And this one is coming out really easily. So there's one. And I should have brought a cup down, but I'm going to put them in this box since they're all the same size. And I'll probably edit a bit of this out too. The real question is not this part, though I'm happy the screws are coming out rather easily. The real question is dislodging the bottom cover from the chassis in order to get to the battery. So we are doing really well here. And so we've got 4 out. I forgot this was magnetic, so that's good news. Actually, I forgot that there's some of these are up on the top. So the tool that came with this particular part unfortunately did not have the Phillips head was actually a little bit too small, which is not a problem. I mean, as long as you have the proper tools, you could see how easy this is to get out. And here we go. And we're almost to the point to determine if we're going to be able to get this apart. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it to have the back of the laptop here, there, And let's see if this is going to easily come off. And so far not horrible. I could feel it. So let me go along here. Yeah, I think you could hear that, where fortunately it did pop out pretty good. When it's not your computer, you take every precaution, of course, to, and that seems to fit under there really well. We're going this way now. So you can see it's coming off. I would just suggest you be patient and take your time, and we got it. So we did get the back cover off. While we're in here, you want to take a look at what we have. Dell makes a great computer, so here's the battery that we're going to replace, and you could see that all indications are that we did a great job in getting the perfect battery to replace it. Here's your memory sticks here. So you could see that the instructions are on it, and you could see that expansion would be right there. We have a memory stick in here, but there's no memory stick on this side. So if we had to, or if we wanted to, which we will someday, we can actually expand the memory there. So that's nice. The cooling, so there's your CPU fan. Your fan is right there. Believe it or not, if you remember the good old days, this is not. This is a hard drive here. It's a nice solid state drive. This one happens to be a SanDisk drive. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this out, and there are 4 screws for this. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and there's a connector. So what we need to do is simply take off the connector and those 4 screws. So that is what we're going to do. And I will hold these 4 screws in a different place than I held the first 4 screws. That seems like it would make the most sense, doesn't it? So let me move this a bit so you can at least see. So this is the bottom right. And it would appear that for some reason it's taking a long time. Ah, there we go. Very short screw, but I must not. So I'm going to put those here. 1. Trying not to touch anything else. 2. All right, by mistake I had dropped one of those small screws, which is why I suggested and didn't do it myself, to have just a small cup somewhere there to hold these in. And thank you for the nice magnetic head. And that's 3, and here, hopefully you could see on the bottom left here is number 4. I'll move it up just a bit for you. And there is the 4th. You could see the size of that screw, how small it is. So again, I highly recommend don't do exactly what I did there, and go ahead and have like a small cup or something to put them in. So it's time now to take this out. By the way, the inside is very clean. I was going to do a clean on it, but I don't seem to have to. So what I need to do now is remove the connector. And there it is. So you could see here's the old battery, and here's the connector. So all I have to do is reverse engineer what I just did, and you could see the electronics even underneath here. The ability to get all of this into a small 13.3 inch laptop is phenomenal, isn't it? So here we go. This is our new battery. So the first step, and the first thing we're going to do is we are going to plug in the connector. Seems a bit tricky to get in just because of the size. So it has plugged in. So our battery is now plugged in properly. Now I'm going to align the screw holes, and here they are. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So let's go ahead and begin with that. And because of the magnetic head, I'm going to go ahead and use this again. And I don't want to drop it. So far, so good. That is in. I'll go down here. 2. 3. That one's in. And finally, okay, at this point, I'm just going to tighten these a bit. I'm not going to over tighten them, of course. And our battery is in. It's connected. And so, next step would be to put the cover back on. So let's do that. If you remember, and I finally remember, I did turn this upside down. So this is interesting. This is extremely magnetized, the bottom. Anyway, let me try to get these back in properly. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's actually snapping in, which is what you would want. So let's go ahead and put these screws back in. So we're going to go ahead and boot this up. I won't let you have to bear with it, but actually it's pretty quick to boot up. So let's see where we are. Just to let you know, I plugged it in, and it started out, I don't know if you could see this actually. Let me try to turn the light down a bit. And it shows it's at 26%. It was at 24%. And as I understand from the owner of this, there used to be a red pop-up that said, oh, your battery's got some trouble. So we didn't get that pop-up, and that's good news. So we're going to go ahead and charge it to 100%. Then we're going to take it off and see what it says about remaining time. And then we'll run it down to close to 0%, charge it again, and we ought to be all set to go. So this has gone pretty well. It's a Dell Inspiron 13 7378. For those that are interested. All right, just continuing. It's been about 6 minutes, and in the 6 minutes it's gone from 23 to 31. So charging fine. Give you a grand finale update, but this seems like a good way to change your battery. All right, here's where we are right now. And it's been just under an hour and a half. The battery's currently at 95, as you could see. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and let it get to 100. And then after it gets to 100, I'm going to unplug it and leave it on and see how long it lasts. It had been lasting 45 minutes or less. So the first step would be to see how long it lasts, so I'll change the power to keep it on. Then we'll go ahead and we'll bring the level down, as I said, close to 0, and then bring it back up to 100, and it should be done. Right now, it is not at all warm underneath, which is good. So it looks like it's in pretty good shape so far. I have had this on the display constantly on for about 35 minutes now. I started at 99%, so it's lost about 5% in more than a half hour. I think we have a winner. As I mentioned before, it never lasted more than 45 minutes on a full charge. So we've done it, and that's how to change a battery in a Dell Inspiron laptop 13, and this is in the 7000 series.